So today I am going to talk about 10 things I don't buy anymore. Now, this is a step in my minimalist journey where I'm trying my best not to buy things I don't need, and these are things that I've been slowly working on. Now, this list is a list I kind of threw together, so it's not in any particular order. Everything's a bit mishmash, so bear with me. And the first thing I stopped buying was jewellery. I like my jewellery, I do. I don't really wear much, apart from this, really. And I used to wear rings, I used to wear bracelets, I used to wear a lot of necklaces. But I found that over time, I didn't really need them anymore, and I found them actually kind of irritating, so I stopped wearing a lot of my jewellery. There's a ring there that my mum got made for me that has an engraving in it that I don't wear, mainly because it's expensive, and secondly, because of my line of work, it would get damaged very easily, or I'd lose it very easily. It's a very pretty ring though, so if I was going to particularly formal functions, I would definitely wear it. Item number 2 is socks. Socks are something that you wouldn't really think about, but it's true. Like, I do not buy socks. I've had way more socks than necessary. I had socks I've had for years. I had recently had to do a big clear out of socks because I had like 30 pair and I only needed about 8. So socks were one that I don't buy because I already pretty much get socks at Christmas time from family or parents, and it's weird because I get excited about getting socks at Christmas. Yeah. But I try my best not to buy them because I pretty much get free socks anyways. Another thing is ornaments, like little knickknacks, little items that take up space that don't have really any use. I have an incense burner, which is technically an ornament, but I use it quite often. And candles that I have, which are scented candles, so also can be used, but I haven't used them in a while. I still buy candles, so that's not on this list. And I replaced ornaments with plants instead, because plants, as you can see, plants they have their uses, and I've stated this before in previous videos. I really like plants. Thing number 4 isn't really an item, but it's gym memberships. I used to go to the gym quite a bit, and it doesn't really show, but I would do a lot of running and such, not necessarily weights, so I'm not really muscly. But because at the time I didn't have a job to keep me moving about, to keep me fit, I would go to the gym because it is very therapeutic, I will say. If I could go to the gym again, I would, but exercises, you can go outside and run, or like go cycling to a new destination or something like that. Like, I have a bike, I can exercise for free quite easily. The 5th thing is coffee. Now, when I say coffee, I mean takeout coffee, as in like the coffee cup, like going to a cafe and buying coffee, that kind of idea, or going to like a Starbucks. Like, it's great and all, and I do have my little travel mug, but I generally don't buy coffee. I've kind of stopped because it's cheaper to buy a bag of beans, and it's cheaper to buy a bag of beans and brew it yourself. And once you get the hang of brewing it, it actually can taste quite nice. The 6th thing is actually very similar to the coffee, is that general food and eating out. I don't really eat out anymore, and eating out can be extremely expensive. And I know, because I used to do it quite often and find that a lot of my income was going towards it. I'm in a position where I can't afford to, so that's fine. Also, it's healthier for me to cook at home anyways, because I know when I'm putting my body, I'm eating a lot more whole foods, and I generally enjoy cooking anyway, so I don't see the point on going to a fancy restaurant. Now, I will say, when my family were over recently, I did eat quite a lot, or eat out quite a lot, but it was out of their expense, not my own. So does that really count? I don't know. Maybe it does, but I myself don't buy takeout. The seventh thing is brand new tech, or like technology like iPhones and stuff like that. I generally try and stick with secondhand, especially since I'm a photographer and an artist. So I work with a digital art tablet, I work with this camera, I work on quite a lot of tech for my laptop and all. And there are some items that that were bought brand new, like my phone and my laptop, and that's fine because I know that these will last. But things like my camera, I generally buy second hand, and it's just cheaper, and I can't afford like a brand new camera. I don't have that kind of money. Another thing I used to buy a lot is jars like these. They're very aesthetically pleasing, and sure, they hold a lot, and you can get these pretty cheap in IKEA. But I find that I can just use up jars like this, where I put my oatmeal. This used to be a chocolate spread jar, where, you know, because I buy quite a lot of chocolate spread because I put it into my oatmeal, and I would put it into my oatmeal into the jars that I finished using. I'd clean them out, and I still have to get rid of some of the label, but it worked perfectly fine. Sure, it's not as big, but I collect a reasonable amount of jars to put stuff in, so that's one way I stopped spending on jars, which is good, because jars are great and all, but you can get them for free with food that you buy, so I don't see the point on buying them. The second last thing I don't buy is body spray. Now, I know I have body spray with me, but you generally don't need body spray. I find you don't need it if you are like myself and you wash relatively often. You don't necessarily get like an unpleasant body odor smell. I never really had a problem with it, even when it's warm. And my job is very physically active, so I do tend to sweat quite a bit, but I've never actually smelled super bad. There are times where I do, but that's just before I get a shower, so I don't really see the point in having body spray. Now, my father did give this to me when he was over, because he couldn't bring it back with him, so he just gave me what's ever left in it, and I do use it from time to time. Though if I was to use body spray or deodorant of some kind, it would probably be something natural, preferably homemade, but something a bit more natural from one of those like herbal stores or something like that. And the last thing I don't buy anymore is online subscriptions. Things like music subscriptions like Spotify, or Kindle subscription for unlimited books, which is good and all, but I don't read that much. Or, well, I do read. I don't read as enough to justify paying the fee every month. The only online subscription I have is for my Adobe Photoshop and Lightroom, because I'm a photographer and artist, and those two applications are very useful to me and allow me to do my work, especially with my art, since I am taking commissions again. So I generally find that I don't really have many online subscriptions, and if I do, I usually cancel them if I'm not using them. And all in all, you probably see that it saves me quite a bit of money. I don't really have much money to start off with to pay for these kind of luxuries. I'm very much a person who likes to maximize efficiency, and if I'm not using something, I'll get rid of it, that kind of idea, or I'll stop buying it. I'm very much into consumables, so things that I can use over time. like, you know, obviously food products or like a good shampoo, which I use. I'll go through like what I use on a daily basis when it comes to products, because there's a good few in there that some of you might like. Since I've stopped buying these things, it's been a step towards me figuring out what I want for my minimalism and realizing where I need to put my money, not into these senseless things that I don't necessarily want. Like, I could eat out, I just don't, because I find I enjoy cooking way too much. Or I could buy coffee, but I could save money on the coffee that I buy by just brewing my own and taking it with me in my travel mug. That's just how I am. Maybe when I have a bigger income, I might start buying some of these things again and purchasing them and such. But for this moment in time, I'm going to be honest, this moment in time, my income is so low that I can't really afford some of these luxuries. And that's okay, and I'm happy to sacrifice them to allow me to put myself in a better position, so that maybe one day if I want to eat out more, I could. But that's not necessarily what I need to do. And anyways, that's everything I need to talk about for this video. If there's any questions you have, please leave in the comments below and I'll get them as soon as possible, or I'll make a video about them. I hope this was useful, and I will see you in the next one.